How do I get past my husband's lies and betrayal? I have been married to my husband for 13 years and have 4 kids. For years he has struggled with alcohol. Lying, hiding it, doing it behind my back. He made many attempts to get sober, and after a huge relapse at the beginning of the year, he got sober and went to rehab. It felt like he finally hit rock bottom. At that time we were separated and I was fully prepared to divorce him. He begged for me to stay, said he would never do anything to jeopardize his family again, and he loved us more than anything. I know what an awful disease addiction is, and I gave in. I wanted our family to stay together. I knew he always had a problem with lying, and not taking responsibility for his actions, but I felt it was just around his addiction to alcohol. He got out of rehab and started going to nightly AA meetings, which was fine. I was on my own with the kids through each day and night, but I wanted to do everything to support his sobriety. Then, he started sleeping in the guest room and stopped wearing his wedding ring. Our relationship was extra strained, and I got suspicious. He freaked out if I went anywhere near his phone. I once saw him obsessively looking up a girl on Instagram, let's call her Mary, and he claimed it was a girl at AA that he never talked to, but him and other guys were curious what she did for a living. Finally one day I bluff and tell him I can recover all his deleted messages and he needs to tell me if he's talking to other women. First he admits to one and says he saved her name as a guy's name and deleted their messages. I ask about Mary. He says they never talked, and I warn him I can call people in his logs and figure out who is who. He says he has to go to work and leaves. I then see his location and he's sitting in a parking lot. I go to the parking lot and walk up to the car and he is on the phone with, of course, Mary. He hangs up, says he know it looks bad, and says he was just warning people I might call. I said, wait, I thought you said you never talked to Mary. Obviously, he was caught. It has been 3 months and I can't get past it. He says all they did was discuss AA and he complained about me, but nothing physical happened. I don't think anything physical happened either. But the lying had now left alcohol and moved into women. He wants to work past this. But I can't get over it. I don't even know how to get over it. I tell him I would have never known if I hadn't caught him, and he stares blankly, because it's true. Where was it headed? What was his motive? What else do I not know in our 13 years together? I get absolutely nothing from him, other than denial of anything else. But how can I trust him? Honestly, would love any advice. I'm a Sam with 4 kids and can't easily leave him and don't know what else to do. For what it's worth, he has actually been sober for 5 months now, and I know he does love the kids more than anything. He says he loves me, but this doesn't feel like it. Comment. Start planning an exit strategy, which will require you re-enter the workforce. I would suggest going to Al-Anon meeting. He has no value for the marriage. I don't know how you can stay. Start with Al-Anon for you, for family and friends of alcoholics, and therapy for you. Consider couples counseling. That time we were separated and I was fully prepared to divorce him. He begged for me to stay, said he would never do anything to jeopardize his family again, and he loved us more than anything. And this is where you should have stood your dang ground. Ugh. Lies and betrayal? I need read no more. You don't get past that, you get on with it. It, in this case, being your life without him. Life is too short to tolerate this at all from your closest inner circle. Next story 2. My husband is threatening divorce and I don't know what to do. Backstory: my husband and I have been together 15 years, married 4. We got together super young and our relationship came with a lot of ups and downs. Over the past few years, I struggled a lot with anxiety/depression while caring for our only child, at the time. We've since welcomed a second child and it's been hard. I was never a saint in our marriage, I nagged sometimes, I stayed consistently stressed, I wasn't always the most loving or lovable. My husband had a porn addiction for a long time, He was caught on a few dating sites. Tinder was the most recent. A few months before our wedding, he was constantly looking up ex-girlfriends, etc. He had cheated on me twice previously and I dumbly took him back. I just recently found out the night before our wedding he went to a strip club. We had agreed to stay at different residences, him with his groomsmen and me with my bridesmaids, and spend a chill night. I had told him if he did go out, the only place I really didn't want him to go was the local strip club. His ex worked there and so did my brother's wife. The ex was a huge sore spot in our relationship because I caught him looking her up repeatedly and going through her photos, etc. It wasn't a curiosity thing as it was constant. Multiple times a week at times. He said they weren't going out, so I also didn't go out. He then tells me the night of our wedding he did in fact go but never did anything. 2 weeks later, I find out he got a few lap dances. I was hurt but eventually forgave. Fast forward to now, I find out he did get lap dances and they were actually from the ex in the club. She approached him and he never turned it down. Even after the club incident, he repeatedly looked her up and we would argue about it. I gave birth to our second child and was expected to work full-time, keep up with our oldest child's school and activities, the house, our finances, get up with our baby all night, every night, and tend to the baby during the weekends and evenings. I did everything. He refused to acknowledge me, was still looking up other women including the ex, was complimenting women on TikTok, etc. Porn was still a huge issue and he all but refused to be intimate with me. Anytime I brought it up, even if I was bawling and begging, he would ignore me and give me the silent treatment until I would apologize to him. My postpartum depression was at an all-time high and I lost myself completely. In January, I had an emotional affair. I regret it. I'm disgusted with myself. It isn't something I would ever do. Until I did. He found out. That night was absolutely horrific. It ended and I never looked back. I repeatedly apologized. I've done everything I can to make up for it. I'm in therapy once weekly. I had my medication adjusted. I'm legitimately trying and yet he's still hung up on it. He refused to acknowledge any of his wrongdoing, ever. I'm not allowed to bring it up or talk about it but we're stuck on mine. I'm accused daily of things I haven't done. My phone is accessible to him whenever he requests and he knows the passcode. I'm not allowed to touch his nor do I know the passcode to his. His Facebook still reads single, he refuses to add me as a friend on it, says he doesn't want to see all the guys on mine and liking my stuff, there aren't any. He took me on a surprise anniversary trip this weekend, we've been slowly trying to work on things. It was wonderful, we had a great time. He wanted me to post pictures and I did. But what I wrote in the post wasn't heartfelt enough for him so I redid it, adding that I loved him. Here's the kicker, my FB is automatically set to friends only. I have been manually setting all my posts to public so he can still see them, he still refuses to add me as a friend, so maybe the accusations of me wanting someone else, having men like my stuff, etc. would stop. When I edited the post, it went back to my friends only preference. He flipped out saying I didn't want anyone to see if I was shamed to be with him, I didn't want the man I had an emotional affair with to see it, etc. I explained it logically to him and he's still flying off the handle. Now he's saying he's done and wants a divorce because I'm hiding him and don't appreciate the effort he put in. I understand he has some trust issues and I get it. I'm trying really hard and working on myself daily. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little resentful to the fact that he could do everything he did to me and more and I'm expected to never talk about it though. What do I do? Next story 3. My best friend keeps leaving plans until too late. My best friend keeps arranging things with me without any details and then doesn't respond to me for the coming days to the point that it gives me anxiety. She is my only friend in my hometown who I regularly meet up with. I live in a different country, so we see each other a few times a year, and for the past few times she has been arranging to meet up with me very enthusiastically, but then when I ask for details like when and where exactly we are meeting up, she is always super late to answer. Like today, I needed somewhere to stay over because my dad was out of town, and because our house is in a remote area I couldn't be on my own. I asked her if I could sleep over 4 days ago and she said I think so. When I tried to finalize the details, she was extremely vague. Then, she didn't text me until an hour before we were supposed to meet up saying when will you come. It annoyed me a lot because I need certainty about things, and by this time my dad dropped me off at my brother's because he had to go. It's not the first time this had happened. She keeps putting off finalizing details until the very last minute, and because I live so far away, it is difficult for me to stick to the last-minute plans she makes. She's not working and she doesn't have any responsibilities during the summer, so I don't know what it is. I just feel like she doesn't value my time and that I just have to fit in with her last-minute plans at any point to have a relationship with her at all. How do I go on about this? How can I be nice and tell her that this has been annoying me? TLDR, best friend keeps making last-minute plans without letting me know of anything, even though I try to give loads of notice.